It's really about collaboration because, when you look at the kinds of, transformation initiatives that are happening, what you're seeing is really there's a shift towards what you call as application composition model, where you're taking best of breed services and creating these applications backed by very flexible business processes.
Hello, everyone. My name is Leonardo, and I'm an SAP mentor based in Montreal, Canada. Today, we have the privilege to welcome Bhagat Nainani. Bhagat, could you please introduce yourself?
Sure. Hi, Leonardo. Nice to be here. My name is Bhagat Nainani. I'm responsible for product development for our application development, automation, and integration products within our business technology platform at SAP. These include some of our more mature offerings like Integration Suite, the Cloud Application Programming Model, UI5 and mobile, and also some of our newer offerings like SAP AppGyver, SAP Process Automation, and SAP WorkZone.
I'm glad you brought up the examples of the products. So SAP has all this new set of products, process automation, namely low-code tools, integration hub. How do you see these products working together to help developers be more efficient?
Yes, Leonardo. We've had successful products in the app dev and integration space for a while now. And we recently introduced SAP Process Automation, which brings together our RPA offerings as well as workflow management, as well as a no-code tool for app development, which is SAP AppGyver. And the main reason for introducing this is, as you can see in the recent changes in the market, all of our customers are trying to innovate rapidly and do more with less. And when it comes to sort of improving productivity, there are a few things that we were focused on. Firstly, we heard from mentors such as yourself, as well as many of the other customers and partners, that we had good capabilities, but they were not well integrated. So the first step was we spent a lot of effort in creating sort of a cohesive and integrated sort of experience in our tools. So in the past, you may have heard us talking about MDK project or a UI5 project or a cloud application programming model project. We don't do that anymore. Now it's like one integrated project where you create a business application. You can define your data model or services. You can define, freestyle or template-based UIs, and then you can, create, workflows. And all of them have a common life cycle. They share the common repository and have a sort of a unified deployment model. So that was the first thing we did, sort of integrated our existing tooling to create this cohesive model. The second thing was sort of elevating the experience, right? We really wanted to improve the usability of our tools. So our existing tools like Business Application Studio, we invested a lot in the productivity. But then there were also some areas where we felt we needed a better experience, especially as it came to sort of serving, so business technologists or citizen developers. So we added SAP AppGyver and Process Automation to allow sort of domain experts to participate in the application development process, working with their developer counterparts. And finally, it was all about sort of creating sort of business-focused content. So we wanted to provide a lot of pre-built content to accelerate development. And when we say pre-built content, it's not like samples or templates. It's really domain-specific content for ERP, supply chain, HR. So in API Business Hub, as you mentioned, we actually seeded it with a lot of APIs and events to connect to our applications. Lots of integration flows, lots of process packages, which are sort of ready to use. So you can start with those in our tools, customize them to your needs, and then readily deploy them. So the whole focus was, have an integrated offering, elevate the experience significantly, and then provide a lot of pre-built content, right? Let me give you one example. There's a company, Zuelik Pharma, right? These guys are in the pharmaceutical company in Asia, and they had a significant increase in their orders during COVID, right? And they had, orders coming in through email, through, spreadsheets sent to them, and documents from which they had to extract the orders. They had a staff of 20 full-time people extracting information from these documents and then entering it into the relevant systems, SAP and non-SAP. They used our pre-built RPA bots, to extract this information from emails, from Excel sheets, and then automated the entire process. And they were able to handle a significantly higher workload of orders during COVID without actually adding more staff. So the same staff is invested in these and this was because they could use a lot of the pre-built content and use our tools to sort of quickly they created around 80 bots to process all of these incoming orders.
It's interesting you brought up this point about the integration, because I remember a couple of years back, we had even a case for a customer that wanted a process automation scenario, but we needed to play with workflow separate from UI separate from API separate. And now the process automation kind of put this all together. So yeah, definitely a great value there.
It was a very common use case we saw across the board, connecting to the backend systems, workflows, as well as sort of automation bots, right?
Yeah. As I am in the industry of consulting, right? We are consultants. We do that every single day. So how do consultants benefit from the collaboration of the professional developers and the business process experts, right? You have these two guys, these two roles, right? The technical consultant and the developers, and you have this more business focus and eventually the system developers. How do consultants benefit from this integration?
It's a very good question. When it comes to sort of this professional development or the tooling that our implementation consultants use, as well as what our business process experts would use, we really don't look at these as sort of separate islands, if you will. It's really about collaboration, because when you look at the kinds of transformation initiatives that are happening, what you're seeing is really there's a shift towards what you call as application composition model, where you're taking best of breed services and creating these applications backed by very flexible business processes. So what that requires is this collaboration between the business experts and the developers. And in our tooling, we don't force any sort of linear development model, right? So you don't have to start in a certain way and then go about, or also what we try to ensure, it's not that you start with a no-code tool and hit a roadblock. So what we have tried to do is, let's say you start with a no-code tool to build your UI applications, and then you say you need certain services, or you need to create a new data model. You can use our cloud application programming model, create the data models, create those services, and then use those using OData or REST inside our no-code tooling, right? Similarly, let's say you have the business process expert, they model the end-to-end process, but as part of the process, as they're automating the process, they need to connect to backend systems. You can use our integration suite along with our automation suite to actually create those end-to-end processes. Or you're creating personalized experiences where you have existing services, existing APIs, and now you want to create a personalized mobile experience. You can use our mobile services or a work zone. So it's really, what we try to ensure with these tools is to allow this collaboration, but while having the same governance, the same lifecycle management, the same sort of CI/CD that you would apply to any enterprise solution, right? So, when it comes to partners, ultimately SAP is just providing the tools and the services, but our partners are the ones establishing the centers of excellence, establishing the best practices at the companies, and establishing the sort of the governance model between, the business experts and the professional developers to actually create these processes, these end-to-end processes, if you will, right? Another area where we see partners and consultants help a lot is actually in creating the domain-specific content that I mentioned. Because you understand the customer's domain, you understand the types of typical business problems, whether it be sort of in ERP, whether it be in supply chain or in HR that customers need to solve, and then provide that content that the users can then use to sort of accelerate the development. Some big partners we've been sort of working with, for example, we've been working with, Wipro and Deloitte on creating a lot of packages, automation packages for our ERP modules, right? We've also been working with IBM on various plant maintenance as well as, finance modules. Accenture has also been working with us on a lot of S4 finance sort of automations as well as process packages. So I think that's just an example of some of the bigger partners, but the same applies to a lot of the consultants where, you understand the domain and we provide the tools and the cloud services, but ultimately creating that content which then our customers can use and to deliver these innovations, we heavily rely on our partners for that.
Yeah, and I think a lot has been talked about the citizen developer, and that is fine. I think there is a lot of value in these tools for a lot of people, and a lot of people in the. I believe the developers they will also benefit from this, because they accelerate development. They accelerate time to value, and delivering innovation fast, quicker, it's beneficial to everybody, customer, Absolutely. Developers, partners, everyone. As the product manager for the SAP app development, process automation and integration. What is the most important for you to tell the community, and how do they get started?
Maybe I'll take a step back and say, as our customers are sort of moving to the cloud and we are helping with these business transformation initiatives, there is the Rise with SAP initiative that you've heard of, which essentially allows them to sort of transition to the cloud and innovate on their business processes. And as part of that, we provide our SaaS applications, we provide SAP Signavio, and we provide the business technology platform. And they sort of play different roles, right? So you have the SaaS applications which have built-in industry best practices and business processes built in. But then you have SAP Signavio, through which you can then model your as-is processes and then look at where you want your process to be, your to-be processes, do the process mining to understand where you may need the improvements and extensions. And then you use the business technology platform to actually create these end-to-end processes and also create these customized experiences to extend and integrate with your application. So Rise is essentially a package of our SaaS services, Signavio, as well as the business technology platform. As you mentioned, I represent the BTP side, but it plays a significant part in this customer journey as they are transforming themselves. And to get started, I would suggest looking at the learning journeys and the free tier, where you can actually create a productive environment with our tooling, whether it's Business Application Studio, AppGyver, as well as our process automation and integration suite. And then you can from there apply the learning journeys and use the content that we provide in API Business Hub to get quickly started.
Yeah, as part of the mentor program, I mean, we've been getting a lot of feedback throughout the years saying that entry barriers have been problematic for new developers to get into access to the technology and adoption and enablement, right? And now you guys provided the free tier access to the tools and the learning hub access with the journey. So right now, I don't see any reason for someone to say that they cannot get into it. So I think that's a great opportunity for everyone. So definitely, I think takeaway here, take a look at the learning.sap.com with the learning journeys at Discovery Center as well, and the free tier. So all we've been talking about here has been available for free from a free tier perspective, and we can get started today. It's super quick. Thank you very much for your time. I think it was super great again to connect, and hope to see you soon in person, hopefully.
Yeah, thank you, Leonardo. Pleasure talking to you.
Thank you.